Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. Those things we didn't get to during the course of the show today, including a last-minute phone call from Gavin at about 8 o'clock last night. I always hate when Betty or Gavin calls me at late at night or early in the morning because I know it's like I can't come in today. Oh no! And it turns out young Mr. Gavin in his. Well, I can't even say his frailty because I got it too. But Gavin, in his attempt to be more like me, got COVID.
I'm
Betty
frustrated.
is so bothered by this.
I am frustrated. I should have seen this coming because what is this? The 5th time that he's gotten it? Take a vitamin. Take a Flintstone vitamin.
I think this is his 2nd time. He missed.
I don't know.
He missed a full week, in January, a year ago. But then he missed a support drive because he had booked a vacation, and then they shifted the
but
support
there was
drive,
a time.
so he was out for a week of support drive.
But there was a time where he missed a whole week or something like that.
Early on.
Because of a fever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't COVID. It was just that he had a fever.
Yeah. I do remember that, too.
And I know that those are serious.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, why are you always getting sick?
I know. Maybe it's his house. Maybe he's got a thing. Like Zach.
Maybe he's got mold.
Former producer Zach, his wife and daughter and stuff like that, they get sick a lot too. And I'm like, is it your house? He's like, we've actually checked and had someone come out to the house because they were getting sick so much. And so, I don't know. His wife has it too. We think that they might have got it. She might have got it from work and given it to him because by the time, I sat out I was only gone 2 days extra off the air, but I sat out 6 days
all
from
weekend
mine. Actually, it probably ended up being about 7 from when I actually first started feeling bad. But I sat mine out and I came back and I never felt bad. He said he doesn't feel that bad, which makes Betty even madder. Because Betty's like, why can't I just get COVID and have a couple days too?
Here's the thing. It's not that I want to get sick. It's not that. But it's how do you manage to always miss support drive?
Oh, I know. If you got to get sick.
I can't.
He did feel bad about it.
He did. Okay. Let's ask him that when he's probably still asleep right now.
Well, I gave him jobs to do too. I'm like, look, we have 2 massive videos to edit. If you're not feeling bad, then work those days, and you don't even have to. You probably don't even take them as a sick day. If you work on all that video and you get it all cut, then you're ahead of the game because they're going to be big projects. And so I'm like, if you need me to bring your drive to you, I'll bring it to you, because now I'm immune forever, hopefully. So he is out. Yeah,
he's got a little temperature.
Missed a couple support drive days.
His little tender tummy is acting up.
I've never missed a support drive day. And I have passed kidney stones on the air. I've had root canals during it. I have been violently ill.
We don't want him here if he does have COVID because then that means everybody's But I'm just like, how is it that you get COVID and even you got COVID?
I know.
Wally, and you said, I didn't feel all that bad.
I didn't feel bad at all.
But you are forced to have to stay home.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. In this incarnation of COVID, now getting it when it first came out, before Omicron even, when it was the first variant, and people were getting really, really, really sick and people were dying. The deaths are so far down on this. The strain is mutated down so much that getting COVID now is the best thing for you if you want a couple days off. Well, because we have to. You are not allowed to come to work for 5 days, and you have to have been fever-free for 24 hours with no medicine in your system. And if you don't feel bad and you're forced to take 5 days, not vacation, but sick time, oh my gosh,
listen,
great.
It's come to the point where I know if it's going to be flu season, let's just count on a week Gavin being out because he's going to get the flu.
He will get
Somehow
sick.
He will get the flu.
He will get sick.
When it comes to the stomach bug going around or something, he'll get the stomach bug.
Here's what we're going to do. I
put him in a bubble.
Take
a vitamin.
I think I saved my COVID test. I'll give it to you. And then that way you can have it, and for when you need a week off, you just take a picture
positive
of it.
And all that?
Yeah. You just take a picture of it and go, there you go. I have COVID too. You get a. Oh no, I threw it away. Never mind. No, she got all excited for a minute.
That's not such a bad idea.
That's not a horrible idea at all. But one of us on the show wishes Gavin a speedy recovery.
I wish wish him a speedy recovery. I just wish he'd stop getting sick.
All right. Starbucks is been ordered to pay an additional $2.7 million to an employee who said she was fired on the basis of her race. But what's really interesting is you don't see it go this way. She said it was because she was white. That is the race card you do not see played very often. She was previously awarded $25.6 million, and then was given another $2 million on top of that. So what happened was, this was back in 2018. Actually, there were two black guys, and they were arrested for waiting to do business. I guess at a Starbucks, and people said they were loitering. There was no violence. I mean, it was one of these really messed up situations, because I think cops even came and were like, they haven't done anything, you know? So the 911 calls them. They accuse them of trespassing after they refused to make a purchase or leave the store. So, I mean, if you're going to sit at a store and you're going to do business all day or whatever, you should buy something. I don't care what race you are or who you are. You should do that. So the arrest sparks nationwide promos or protests. And remember, this was the one that Starbucks closed a bunch of its stores for a day for racial training bias. After this happened, they closed a bunch of them. They said, okay, we're going to, as a company, we're going to get this under control, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, this lady gets notified that she's being terminated despite the fact, this is what's so crazy, she wasn't even at the store that day and was not involved in the arrest in any way, shape, or form. So they fired her. I guess she was a manager. And so they fired her, and that's why she sued. And then she promptly won $25 million from Starbucks, which is about 2 grandes and a scone.
Do you think that she had a legit reason for suing?
Absolutely. If she was not there and was fired and it wasn't under her watch, or she hadn't given a directive, hey, anybody that's here, you make sure you call the cops on them if they're just loitering, if that was not her directive, then absolutely, and I think they were looking for a scapegoat. And in this case, they needed a white person to blame for all of the racial problems. And so that's what she's contending, and that's what they did. And then when a jury finds in your favor on a racial case as a white person, that's pretty amazing.
That's saying something.
Yeah, exactly. That says that Starbucks was culpable. And I know you're going to hate me right now, Rock. I know you're going to hate me. But please don't. Just check it for just a second. I know. Just hold on to it. Nate Bargatze.
Oh, my gosh.
He has a clip of...
Listen, I love Nate Bargatze, but you're making me want to not like him.
No, I like when he's so good at what's going on in the world. And
yes, he
actually
is, but that doesn't mean you have to bring him into every conversation.
He actually has a bit talking about the white race card.
So I was standing in line, and I was behind this guy, this white guy, and he pulled out the white race card. Now, I don't know if y'all knew we had a card, but he had one. So I'm standing behind him, and I just hear him argue. I hear him just go what is it, because I'm white? Is that why you're doing this, because I'm white? And he looked at me like I'm his brother, hey, are you going to get involved? I was sitting there, I was no, I'm not getting involved in this. I'm not ready for something like this. I think you're the first guy ever to try this, to be honest with you. I'm not prepared at all. If you wanted me to help you should have pulled me aside earlier. You should have grabbed me look, I'm going to make history today. Do you want to be a part of this or not?
See, I love him. See, when at the end you laughed. He's so good. He's so good.
I like him, yeah, but my goodness.
Speaking of problems in the world with people not getting each other, the Killers, you know the band The Killers, right?
Yes.
Mr. Brightside.
Mr. Brightside. Hopefully we don't get flagged for that, because they're oh my gosh, the Killers are there.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good, right? So they're doing a show in the country of Georgia, okay? And so they're doing a show there, and they brought this Russian guy up on stage.
The country of Georgia?
The country of Georgia. It's I don't know how everything how everything shook out in Russia back in the day when they split the USSR up, and then all these countries were now fractions and things like that. But it's in that area, and so they bring a Russian guy up on stage, because Russia is responsible for invading the Ukraine. And, Ukraine has made relations with Georgia even worse. The invasion has made relations between Ukraine and Georgia and other places worse because of this. So, everyone blames Vladimir Putin, but ultimately they go, well, all of Russia's bad. So the killers in their hippy-dippy, musician world, and actually, it's the right thing. They're like, hey, people are people, and we want to bring this guy up. And so they think they're celebrating him and like, hey, he's our brother. And the crowd goes nuts in a bad way. They start booing the killers, and they're like, no, because people are really mad at Russians about the invasion, and rightfully so, but you got to be mad at the right people. It's kind of like saying all Muslims are bad, because you can't do that either. And it's the same thing with the war. Is you have a small group of people that are doing atrocities, but you have a large contingency of people, even in Russia, that are like, this is not my war. I don't support this. I don't want this.
Well, why did they bring a Russian up there to begin with?
Because they're in Georgia, and they're trying to mend fences, and they're trying to show, hey, we're musicians, and we just love everybody.
All about peace and
one love. Exactly. They're trying to create Woodstock.
They thought they could bring peace into the situation and realized they didn't have as much say as they thought they did.
Exactly. See, they thought they had their audience dialed in. Maybe here in America, probably would have worked. They could have paraded any Russian out, and then people would have been like, that's so great, you're amazing. Yeah. So he tries to fix it. Brandon Flowers tries to fix it. He goes, you can't recognize someone's your brother? He's not your brother? Am I not your brother being from America? And so he's trying to have this moment, and the crowd just refuses. They boo, they walk out, and it ends up with the killers actually having to issue an apology after the show, saying we recognize that the comment meant to suggest that the killers and the audience and the fans are brothers and sisters could be misconstrued. We did not mean to upset anyone, and we apologize. We stand with you and hope to return soon. And they're like, yeah, you're not coming back.
Dang.
Yeah, so it was
I wonder what the Russians think about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The apology.
I don't know. It was one of those moments where I think in his head he had crafted what he thought was going to be this great unifying moment.
Right.
And true to life, it came out completely opposite. I know, yeah, you try to do your best and you try to...
He's coming out of his cage.
Yeah.
He's been doing just fine.
Yeah, not doing just fine at all. So, Lady Rock, what do you got?
Well, mine is about Stranger Things. So if you've already listened to the podcast, then you heard us talk about this woman, Michaela, that fell for a catfishing situation.
Is that not the saddest?
It is. It's really sad.
Because everyone sees the red flags except them.
Well, Wally and I, he still does. I haven't for a while, but I could easily get back on the bandwagon, watch 90 Day Fiancé.
The Williams.
That one was so painfully obvious, and even her children saw how painfully obvious it was. But she, as a 60-year-old woman, was just like, no, the Williams loves me.
And this guy, like the picture, whoever was catfishing this woman is using like a 28-year-old workout model.
Yeah, six-pack, sporting.
I know God made everyone beautiful and in its image and everything like that. But there has to be a moment where you have a dose of reality that we talk about people being out of your league. You have to realize that 99% of the time, these things are not going to be real, and especially if this person is so far outside of your league, so far. Like the who was it? Lyle Lovett? No, what was that ugly country guy that married like way out of his station?
I think it was him.
Was it Lyle Lovett?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, probably so. I think he married
didn't he marry the Dixie chick girl?
I don't remember. Well, Rick Ocasek from the Cars married some supermodel,
Oh, wait, what? He was with Julia Roberts.
Yes, that was it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the exception. But again, they both like have money and they're artists or whatever. So, okay, you can see those two worlds intersecting a little bit. But by and large, if you think someone is out of your league, you should go with that, especially in online dating. You'd be like, all right. Because like let's say you on your best day, your whole life have been a 6. on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? Let's say that you got through high school and you were never Mr. Popular, you were never a 10, you were never the great-looking workout guy, you were always a little soft, a little frail, so you're a 6 on your best day.
Your best day.
What makes you think somewhere now your glory days are behind you and you're in your 40s or 50s, what makes you think that all of a sudden you're online and some supermodel that is pushing a 12 is all of a sudden into you?
And 30 years younger.
Yeah. How do you even in your mind remotely think that I got a chance?
But then on top of that, too, the Williams that we're referring to, he would never have a face-to-face, what do you call it? A FaceTime conversation.
My camera's broken.
His camera was broken. Something was wrong with his phone. He couldn't get a connection, but he could always chat.
Oh.
And it just and two, do you remember when he sent I sent her like a gym photo or whatever, and her daughter was able to reverse search and found that it was from someone else's profile. And still that 60-year-old woman was like, no, the Williams, like maybe there's a misunderstanding or something. No, there is.
On the latest episode, there's this one poor guy. And again, the people that get catfished, I do feel bad for them because
they're lonely.
They're lonely. They want love so bad. They want to be accepted. They want to be loved. I get all of that.
Yeah.
But it's really sad when they don't listen to people in their lives. Like there's this one guy, he's pushing 400 pounds. And he has been in a relationship online with this girl for 3 years. The producers of the show come to him and say, hey, we just found out you've been catfished. We know the guy who did it. So this is what they do for a living. So they have figured it all out, and they've told him, you've just been catfished. And he goes, well, maybe it really is her, and she was being trafficked. And you're like, what in the world, sir? And so then here's where it gets really weird. So whoever, and the guy admits that he was catfishing him for money. And so then he used a picture from some other lady. They track down this lady from her reverse search. They find out this lady does all these bad things too. But they track her down. And so this guy wants to meet her for closure because it was her picture he's been looking at, but he's been being catfished by some dude, but he's like, I just need closure. It's a storyline that I think they put time and money into, and they have to keep it going for the show, but they should let it go because it's really sad and it really doesn't have an outcome, and they really need to let that go. So anyway, back to Millie Bobby Brown.
Right.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm going. So we had spoken about Stranger Things, and Millie Bobby Brown, who is the actress who plays Eleven on the show, she admitted recently that because she has seen the way having an online presence can affect you mentally, she actually hired someone on her team to be in charge of her social media accounts and censor any negative comments so Bobby can stay in a positive headspace.
You know what? I support that, especially for these young kids. Because
she's maybe 18 or 19.
No one is mentally prepared, especially at that age, for fame and huge fame. You cannot prepare for it. You think you are, but you are not. And the thing about it is there's so many horrible people online that troll you, and it messes with these kids.
Because they're bored.
Yeah, but it messes with these kids because you don't realize the power words have. The Bible talks about, the tongue being a weapon, and it talks about how words, to quote Mercy or the Hawk Nelson song, words can build you up or words can tear you down. And our tongues have such power. And I think that people can destroy these poor people. And for them, it's just a game. And so for somebody to be proactive at that age, to say, I don't need this in my life, you censor it and you give me what's going to build me up and edify me and keep me being productive and being good at my job, I think that is one of the healthiest things somebody could do.
Yeah, and I think it's also something that a lot of other celebrities should do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Because we were talking about, was it yesterday, we were talking about Oprah trying to help with the Hawaiian people, and there's no winning. And you can still be doing good. Your heart can be in the right place, and still people are going to find something wrong.
When I first got here, this is back when they had not Facebook groups, but like forums and threads and things like that. And people would say these horrible things about me, and I was laughing at it. Like, to me, it was a sport. It was funny, and I was poking the bear, and it made me laugh. My wife, it upset her so much because of the things they would say. And she stopped reading any of it. She's like, I can't look at it. It makes me so mad. And to me, I've been in this business my whole life, and so I'm used to it. There are some comments that still get to me and still outrage me or hurt me. But by and large, I have pretty thick skin and I kind of laugh about it. But there are some that cut through. But she's not wired that way. And so she always hurt for me, and she had to step out of it and not look at it.
That reminds me, is there any update on the situation from yesterday? You were talking about the woman that emailed you?
Yeah. I'd emailed her, and we had a disagreement, and she emailed me back and said, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to respond. Thank you. And she said one more thing that wasn't negative. She was just putting out like her finalization of the conversation. And I just emailed her back, hey, look, if we don't agree on this, it's totally cool. And I told her, I said, I take these things in, even if I don't necessarily agree with you or give you the response you want now. I said, know that when these things come back around, your voice as well as other people's voice is in my head. And it might alter how I choose to go down a route. And that's very true, because there are sometimes I've had conversations with people that I maybe didn't disagree with, but I understood where they were coming from. And the next time something like that came up, I've rephrased it a little bit differently to maybe have it not be something that could be taken wrong or affect somebody negatively. And so she was really appreciative of that. Good. So it all ended really well. Yeah. But I think the key was her tone was respectful coming at me. That's a big deal for me. And so I was respectful with her. Now, I should always be, and I'm better at being respectful even if someone isn't respectful to me. I'm much better at it now than I used to be. But people get so much farther with me if we disagree on something by either giving me the benefit of the doubt or saying, hey, I don't know if you thought about this. This is how this hit me. And I go, oh, yeah, I didn't think about how that could hit me because I don't know your personal experience. So, that makes sense. Or, yeah, I said it this way for a reason. This is why I said it that way. And as long as you have like a healthy conversation about it, it's great. It's when things devolve to where they don't look at all like Jesus, that's when it's a problem. And I was for 7-8 years here, 9, okay, 10, like super culpable in making things degrade. I was
self-sabotaging.
Well, I was as venomous as, and maybe even more so, as the people that came at me. Instead of coming back with kindness and grace, I punched back, and I punched back harder, And so I have, over the course of years, learned and grown to where I try to see through the argument a little bit to see what else might be going on, and then I try to be gracious in my third or fourth draft. I get a couple drafts out of my system where I just chuckle to myself and go, "Oh, this would be funny," and then I don't send it. But then when I get down to what I'm going to send, I've worked through it, and I'm doing better at that. So. There you go. But good on her. I think that's really healthy. Yes. I think more celebrities should do. I think more people should do this. I know, like when I go on vacation and I get out of the news cycle,
it makes a huge difference.
Oh my glory, it does. Like you
and I think that would be the same.
Angry every minute.
That would be the same for a lot of people. I think if the news stations just went down, and we didn't know,
we'd be oblivious to problems or issues,
because things seem so big and they seem like such a big problem. But then, honestly, you wonder were these things happening all around the world before we even knew it.
Right.
It just seems catastrophic now because we do know it.
Yeah.
We know what's happening in Hawaii. We know what's happening in Russia. We know what's happening in Ukraine. And it just seems like everything is crashing.
Well, when you get super served up, too, when you talk about politics and you get super served with people that agree with you based on the algorithms, and so and they get more and more inflammatory, and it just makes you madder and madder. And most of the examples politically are extreme examples. It's not the thing that's happening every day. It's not the thing that's happening in, your neighborhood typically. It's usually some really extreme, either on the right or the left. But it's that extremity that makes you furious. And then that fire gets stoked, and before you know it, you are just living every day angry. Whereas like when I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, or last week, I knew nothing that was going on. and I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
My world didn't burn down.
Do you remember that guy that got lost at sea? And
Yes.
he said something about it was nice to just not know what was going on.
Yeah, he's drifting at sea.
Him and
could
his
have
dog.
died.
Yeah,
and
him and his
he's like,
dog
"It's
are
great."
just like chilling.
Yeah.
He's like, "It's
Drifting
kinda
at
nice."
sea is better than spending time on social media. Like, that's a
Says
problem.
something.
It does say something.
Something.
Speaking of saying something, would you say something about birthdays?
I will.
Thank you.
This one is Trish. She wants to wish her sister Margot a happy early birthday.
Nice.
I'm getting it in today because tomorrow is support drive.
Look
so
at that. Good on you, Potty. Nicely done.
We will not be having an Aftercast, so I want to make sure that it gets in there. So Trish said about her sister Margot, said she is sweet, extremely thoughtful, kind, and caring. Can people say that about you, Wally?
Yeah, actually, on some days. And then other days they can say he's prickly, caustic, and evil, But yeah, no, I definitely have my moments.
We have a question from John Clausen.
Oh, hey, my Canadian friend.
Yeah. The question is, what is your favorite dinner when calories aren't an issue?
Oh, boy. Calories are never an issue for me anymore. Like, I don't care now. It is amazing when you go out to eat. You know how the government made all these restaurants put calorie counts on?
Yeah.
When you go to places like Cheesecake Factory, the amount of calories that you will consume in one meal
Better
is
off not knowing.
mind-boggling. Yeah, it's like the news. Better off not to know.
Yep. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of the most caloric thing I typically like.
You like steak. You like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
You like...
Steak is usually, if you do like a regular steak and you don't have a lot of sides, the caloric intake isn't really bad on steak.
Well, then would you choose steak?
No, I would go with like something at Cheesecake Factory where the meal itself is like 1,800 calories. It's this buttery chicken piccata thing, garlic, and then with a giant thing of mashed potatoes. Yes, sir.
And then a slice of cheesecake?
Oh, and the cheesecake alone is over 1,000 calories, I think.
Have you ever looked at the calorie intake of the Reese's cheesecake?
No, it's got to be huge.
That slice alone could probably do 2 of a regular cheesecake.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
I agree
There's
with
something
that.
about the peanut butter that is just adds more.
Look it up real quick. I'm just curious. Like even just a regular piece of cheesecake, it's got to be 800 plus calories at Cheesecake Factory. Has to be.
Factory.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's like you could your whole meal there would be your whole day.
Okay,
and then some.
So do you want to make it? Well, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, a piece of regular cheesecake.
I'm going to say 890 calories.
You're close. You went a little over, 707.
Oh, I could have 2 then.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like girl math. I was thinking it was 1,500
Right?
calories, so I
You
could have
get it?
2.
Yeah, you get it. This is the nutritional guide. Ooh. And the Cheesecake Factory, too, like their menus are ridiculous.
They're huge, too.
Do they tell the...
But
Oh,
I
they
still
do.
only get the same thing. I still get the same thing
What
every
is
time
it
I
that
go.
you were getting?
Chicken piccata is what I get.
Let me look.
Yeah.
Chicken.
I want to say it's like 1,100 calories or maybe even more than that.
Okay, here it is.
There was something I looked at that was like, it was like maybe 1,400.
1340.
1340, yes. Yeah.
1340.
So then if you throw that cheesecake on there, you're at 2,080. That is a day's worth of calories. And don't forget your Coke, which is another probably 10 calories.
They have something
minimum.
on there called French dip cheeseburger. It is 1620. Wait, 1680. What is that? The Impossible Burger?
Yeah.
No, that can't be right. No, it's the bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah.
1680.
It's brutal.
Wait, something is 1810. Wait, that can't be right.
What is it?
Sheila's chicken and avocado salad is 1810.
No, because that's when you think I'm doing the right thing. Like, there's no way.
Wait, 1980. Barbecue ranch chicken salad.
What?
1980.
I would love to be a waiter there, and like people are like, I just want to eat like, hey, why don't you get the barbecue ranch chicken salad? You'll love it. It's a salad. And then when they finish, then you just go, oh, by the way, you just ate 1,800 calories.
Oh my gosh. But the thing is, too, a lot of it is you can make 3 meals out of it.
Yeah, their portions are big.
I was looking for the cheesecake, but I don't see it. But anyways, that was interesting. Okay, so for my meal, if calories are not a thing,
And they never are for her because she's a toothpick and we hate her.
I would go with 2 rounds of all you can eat fried catfish.
Oh, from Catfish Camp.
Yes, and I only want the edge pieces. I don't want the middle pieces because the edge pieces, they get crunchier and you can really like deep fry them good.
Okay.
I want all the hush puppies. Actually, no, I want the hush puppies from Cracker Barrel. Their hush puppies are out of this world. I want them all.
Best hush puppies I ever had were at a small little hole-in-the-wall fish place that literally burned down eventually. But they had hush puppies and they put powdered sugar on them. And
yes.
It's so good.
I've had those.
Have
it's like funnel cake.
Yeah, you would think that's not going to be good. It is
so
phenomenal.
Good. It is so good.
I'm so hungry right now.
Then I would have fries, but I would have the crinkle cut fries.
Yeah.
I want them crispy.
Yeah.
And then I want the biggest sweet tea you can give me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me ketchup and I'm good to go. I'm a happy little camper.
Ask you a question about Catfish Camp? Have you ever looked at the menu other than catfish? Or do you just know? Okay. Do they have fried shrimp?
Yes, I believe so.
They do. Okay, like a popcorn shrimp or something like that? Okay. Yes. I would like to go to Catfish Camp with you sometime. I want to see you eat all this catfish, but I can't eat catfish. I'm not a fan. But maybe we could do a show lunch. And
it's going to be a drive.
That's fine. I don't care. We'll play license plate bingo on the way. It'll be great.
If Gavin can make it with his little tender tummy.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll get him back on the mend. And then, because I could eat shrimp, but I want to experience Catfish Camp. I've heard you talk about it for years now, and I want to experience it, but honestly, I don't want catfish.
Honestly, in truth, I'm being honest when I say I want them to cater either my funeral or my wedding.
Whichever comes first.
And honestly, if I have my funeral or my wedding there, I'm fine with that. I'm almost better than fine with that.
Instead of rice, they throw we all throw catfish food at you.
Yes.
So great.
I love that idea.
So great. If this was a Disney movie, all the catfish would like pop their heads up out of the water and spurt water out of their mouths.
Oh, how cute
and you'd
would
walk
that
under
be?
it. Yeah,
yes.
It'd be so good.
Oh, I love it.
All right, I think that's going to have to do it for our shenanigans today. I am sorry. Tomorrow and all next week is going to be support drive, so we will not have a podcast or an Aftercast. That said, we'll be back with it after that. And the reason we get to do this is because people support the ministry of WayFM. And if that's something that you're like, oh, I love what you guys do. We don't charge for the podcast, but if you want to support the ministry, that enables us to keep doing this. You can do so by texting the word GIVE to 91979. That's GIVE to 91979. And if you do that, please, somewhere in the comments, tell us that you are a potty. I love seeing that, and I know like our bosses love seeing, oh, wow, your podcast people are like super active. It actually helps too. So if you do that, thank you. And that's it. Thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.